Let's begin hold or fire in the NFL. And the idea of hold or fire, if you're new to the show here, is a very simple one. We're trying to identify lines here, maybe on a Monday, that we think are going to move, right? So depending on which side, you're always going to have a hold or a fire scenario, depending on which side you look at this football game. We're all going to talk about the Broncos and Seahawks, then we're going to turn to Thursday night in 3 nights and what a game this should be in Kansas City. Chargers coming to town. We saw what happened there last year. You want to go for it? Yeah, go for it. They went for it. They won the game. Boy, Genius 2.0 is a genius until he wasn't a genius. Now, all of a sudden, the Chargers coming in off a nice win, week 1, against the Raiders, and the Chiefs look like y'all must have forgot Roy Jones. and Patrick Mahomes put it on him. When you look at the numbers here for the Chiefs and the Chargers, and right now, I'm seeing about 3.5 market-wide here for the Chiefs, and that total around 54. If you're the backers of the Chargers and you want to take the points, do you hold or fire at 3.5?
You know, to me, you said this game is in L.A., correct?
Yes.
I would take the Chiefs in the 3.5.
I'm sorry, it's in Kansas City. Chiefs are laying 3.5.
Okay, I'm sorry. I would, if I like the Chargers, I would take it right now.
Right now, you think it might come down?
I believe so. If you like the Chiefs, again, I would wait. So for me, if it's the Chargers, I would fire. I don't like the fact that this game is being played on a Thursday night.
I mean, 3 nights. Boom.
Yeah.
A huge game.
I'm glad, though, it's after the first game, so these two teams are not banged up. Because this is, Dave, if you look at the regular season in the NFL, this has got to be one of the top 5 to 7 games on the NFL schedule.
And the season's a war of attrition.
Yeah, exactly.
And here we go, 3 days after playing, at least for the Chargers, a physical game against the Raiders. They got to now go on the road to Kansas City. That's not an easy place to play in Arrowhead. I look at the total, 54. What do you make of that? I think the Chiefs almost put that up by themselves against Arizona, but this isn't Arizona's defense. The Chargers, Derwin James looked like he looked great yesterday for the Chargers. You saw Khalil Mack, Bosa. They look like what we thought it was going to be. So their defense might be a little bit better than people look at, but the Chiefs are still the Chiefs offensively.
Well, I thought with the addition of Khalil Mack, there were high expectations to this team. J.C. Jackson banged up. That's a concern. But other than that, you talked about Derwin on the back end. He's tremendous. This is going to be interesting. Watching Herbert is just special. And then, of course, Mahomes, he's at another level. I think Mahomes is in that Peyton Manning and, of course, Tom Brady level where you can just take anybody on the outside. Now, Peyton had Marvin and, Reggie Wayne. But, it's like Mahomes. It doesn't matter who you throw out there. He's going to elevate them. You just have to catch the ball.
And they did yesterday against Arizona. So some of those new receivers for Patrick Mahomes, more of a spotlight scenario here on Thursday night. Against the Chargers. More hold or fire coming up next here on Big Bets on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Roll on with Big Bets. Ben Fox is in the building. We don't have a camera on him, but he is here, people, and he's going to join us on the desk here in a little bit to talk about everything, the calamity he saw from the books this weekend. And it was crazy in college and pro football. And it does lead us to hold or fire as we look ahead now. I don't know how much overreaction the betting market will show in week number 2 of the NFL after what they've just seen, and we're not even done with week 1. But let's talk about the Buccaneers and the Saints. You talk about marquee matchups already.
Yeah.
Oh, did the Saints get lucky in the ATL to somehow win that game, come back in the manner in which they did? Dennis Allen gets his first win as head coach with his new team. Oh, by the way, Todd Bowles did too. First game as the head coach in Tampa. Nobody really is talking about Todd Bowles and what his defense did to Dak Prescott before he got hurt in the Cowboy offense. Now, you're going down to the Big Easy. Tom Terrific is laying 3 on the road. The total is 44. If you're backing the Saints, hold or fire with the 3?
Hold.
Ooh.
Because I believe it'll get up to 3.5 or 4 just simply because of who Tampa is. And based on the way they played against the Cowboys Sunday night game, I think it'll go up. But I lean towards the Saints here. I thought Jameis was outstanding in the fourth quarter. He struggled early on. Mm-hmm. But if you look at, they outgained Atlanta. They had like 250 yards in that fourth quarter.
Amazing.
The time of possession was in favor of Atlanta in the fourth quarter, but give them credit. They just got things turned around, and they find a way to score 17 points in that fourth quarter. How about that throw to Jarvis Landry on the sideline? I mean, there was really a tremendous job, and the false start killed Atlanta there, but give New Orleans credit. Jameis takes advantage of what was presented, and they win the game.
Is it a possibility to say that the Saints might have more offensive weapons than the Buccaneers right now?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, it comes down to you. I thought Brady was terrific throwing the ball last
Brady
night.
was great. Yeah.
But I think Jameis is a guy that can be a real wild card. I love Taysom Hill. Michael Thomas played like Michael Thomas yesterday. Made a couple of great touchdown catches, was terrific. Jarvis Landry emerging. Remember, Jarvis Landry, people forget, until Michael Thomas came along, he set the NFL record for receptions in the first 4 years of a career with 400, and then MT comes along and breaks that. So you've got dudes that are in their first 4 years, both set NFL records for receptions. You got Olave as a rookie there. They got some guys. So I don't think you can discount them. And then remember one thing, Dennis Allen's been the defensive coordinator here for a few years. He knows what he's doing, and I think it could present some challenges. I think it's going to be a fantastic game. And then I would say the Dome is probably in the top 4 or 5 home field advantages in the NFL.
I agree. So really, you look at it that way, and it's almost like you're getting an extra 3. They are getting 3.
Yeah.
Amal's advice here is hold if you're on the backers of the Saints. You might get that up to 3 and a hook, which could come into play. 44 is that total. Buccaneers defense looked pretty good too. I wonder very quickly where that number might go. If you like the over in that one, would you hold, assuming this comes down?
Good question, Dave. You read my mind because we didn't get into it yet, but I want to talk about that. I think if you like this game over, you wait. If you like it under, you bet it now. I have a feeling it'll come down a little bit, not because of what we saw out of Tampa, inconsistency on offense, but they kicked a ton of field goals. Those few errors get ironed out and they're scoring touchdowns. But the reason why I say this is I think New Orleans will be able to play them pretty well, but at the same time, I think when you look at this Tampa team, it's a different style compared to what they had under Bruce Arians.
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to see as much downfield passing. I think you're going to see Leonard Fournette running the football. He was tremendous and effective running the ball yesterday, so I think you'll see something similar out of Todd Bowles next week.
Hold or fire? Kelley, wait, do you have something for us?
Yeah, I was just going to say to Amal's point that game really it was 2.5 opened up yesterday at a lot of shops around the country, basically 3 everywhere now. So yeah, like you said, if you're waiting for that plus 3.5 on the Saints side of things, I would keep waiting. And that total, I'm all dead on that as well, opening 45.5, coming down to 44 right now. So might swing back up the other way later in the week.
Gentlemen, this one is so intriguing to me on so many different levels as we continue to hold or fire. 2 teams in opposite directions clashing in the Steel City on Sunday. The Steelers, led by Mitchell Trubisky, are going to take on Mac Jones and the Hoodies coming to town. Boy, did they look rough in Miami. And I don't know how the Steelers, one, made it that close with 4 turnovers early in that game, but they did hold on. And somehow you mentioned Minka getting the big block PAT. They win it in overtime in Cincinnati. Now, in Pittsburgh, the Steelers are getting one against the Patriots, and that total very low at 41. Okay, Amal Shah, if you're backing the Patriots on the ROAD, laying the point, hold or fire?
Well, here's the problem in this game. First of all, I would hold if you're betting the Patriots. And the reason is I want to see the status of Mac Jones. Back injury.
Yep.
Let's find out what he's going to do. If he can go or he can't go, that's a real concern when you look at the New England Patriots, because I didn't think Mac was horrific or anything, but I thought the play calling was absolutely – dude, I thought it was some like 14-year-old playing Madden.
The split play cars didn't work out?
Well, it's not even that. 4th down and 3 twice, they throw deep balls. I'm like, get a first down and keep the drive moving. The Patriots' defense was actually very effective. It was a 4th and 7 play to Jalen Waddle they scored on, and then it was a defensive touchdown. They didn't play bad defensively. For me, the concern is the offensive side of the ball. It's not even necessarily the players. It's just the play calling. I'm not a big fan of it. Brian Hoyer could be the guy potentially there. I don't think Pittsburgh was really good on offense. That's being kind. I thought the defense was tremendous. I thought Minka had one of the best individual games I've seen from a player in a while. Pick 6, blocked PAT,
he was
makes a play in the end zone, even though it was a little bit of a drop, comes over there, cleans off the receiver towards the end of the game before Jamar Chase scores, but really tremendous.
Okay, so we're going to hold if you're backing New England. There's a lot of news and notes before this game begins, and your first one was spot on about Mac Jones. Wait to figure out what his back situation is before you fire on this game. X-rays did come back negative, which is positive.
Yeah.
Right, so that's good news there if you like Mac Jones. But how about this news? Jake Glazer reporting that the Steelers plan to, quote, sit Kenny Pickett all season long. That was interesting to me because I'm with you. I didn't think Trubisky looked great in his debut. They win. That's all that matters. But the bigger news out of Pittsburgh is this. The reigning defending NFL Defensive Player of the Year, TJ Watt, suffered a torn pec during that overtime win. We don't have a time frame yet on this. I will tell you this. Brian McFadden, two-time Super Bowl champion of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah.
We were texting last night. He said he played with a torn pec. And he's like, don't get surgery. You can play with this thing. That'll be an interesting decision to figure out what Watt does, what the Steelers decide to do. But just know this. If he does play, he's not going to be the same Watt that we saw as player of the year.
Yeah, a couple things. First of all, if you get surgery, you're looking at a 6 to 12-month recovery time. Second, in terms of a torn pec, I would ask, you said you were talking to McFadden?
Yeah, B-Mac played with it.
I would say, and listen, B-Mac's an incredible guy. He's incredibly tough. Went to Kelley School, Florida State. But isn't there a difference at the DB position compared to playing on the line? Because if you look at it,
every play
you get exactly. So that's the one question I would ask.
That's a great point. And we'll try to get B-Mac on the show this week to talk about what that's like, because he knows exactly what this injury is like. But you're exactly right. When you're in the trenches like Watt is every play, B-Mac's on the outside a little bit. You can get away without some contact all the time. Watt can't. So, again, hold on that if you're back in the Patriots, but it does look like the x-rays at least were negative coming into play for that one on Sunday. Let's get to another game that I think could be very intriguing for many different reasons, and that is not my Dallas Cowboys or your Dallas Cowboys, our Dallas Cowboys, America's team. In America, it was a tough one for America last night because now Dak Prescott's going to be out at least 6 to 8 weeks. He gone. He got a thumb injury, right? Next man up. That next man up is going to be Cooper Rush. I heard Big Mike McCarthy said this team will rally around Cooper Rush. It was very Dick Vermeil-ish.
I was about to say, you think this is Dick Vermeil? You think we're going to rally around Kurt Warner and play good football? I don't think so.
So now the Cowboys at home next week against the Bengals, who somehow lost that game. The Cowboys are getting 7 at home. If you're back in America's team, hold or fire on the 7 right now.
I would hold. I think the number's going to go up. I tell you this, I don't want to lay 7 on the road with the Bengals, but man, I think Cincinnati's got a great opportunity here to get back on track against this Dallas team. We saw them struggle. But you know what? Zeke was carrying the ball fairly effectively.
He looked good.
Once again, in typical Dallas Cowboy fashion, they decided to go away from the running game.
Kellen Moore, that's on you. Hey, Big Mac, if you're going to get fired in Dallas, how about taking over the play calling duties? Like, if you're going to get fired for something. Right now, he's doing nothing. He's letting the other guys determine his fate.
You have an elite-level defender in Micah Parsons. Run the ball. Try to keep the opponent off the field. Exactly.
Right there with you.
Visit VSiN.com to get current odds. Listen for free. Find showtimes and download VSiN sports betting podcasts.